division has been sowed, and they forced us to choose a side. There is no more middle, right? There used to be a middle. There's no longer a middle anymore. And so those of us who have chose to lean a little bit right, are getting it from the left.
And then I learned through this whole thing that it was important to just keep going because we know what we're doing is right.
You can feel a shift in Canada. You can feel kind of a different vibe where more and more people are getting kind of all wired up and fired up and not wanting government to take any more of your rights, your God-given freedoms. And you can just sense that.
Adam Sos here for Rebel News on location at the Great Eagle Resort and Casino here just outside of Calgary, Alberta for another Canadians for Truth Fire and Ice event. If you haven't had the opportunity to check out one of these events, they are hosted by Canadian heroes and Olympians, Thurin Fleury and Jamie Salé. Tonight, the guest is none other than Sarah Palin. I actually had the opportunity last night to join her for an exclusive and in-depth interview. That video is either out already or will be available soon, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, we're going to hop in, speak with some folks about this exciting event tonight. So I'm now joined by Jamie Salé. I wanted to ask you, Sarah Palin is probably one of the first sort of strong female conservative voices that was targeted by sort of modern political cancel culture. You've encountered a little bit of that as well since your sort of awakening. What's it like to sort of spend some time with Sarah Palin and to have her as maybe like a role model? Obviously, you're an accomplished person in your own right, but in this field, she's somebody who's seen it all. Does that help you relate with her?
It really does, actually, because it was front and center for me to ask her questions around how did you handle the backlash and the lies that the media was putting out about you. And so you're going to get that because we all know where that's coming from, right? They don't want you to speak out. They don't want you to have a say in anything and call them out too, right? So I just really appreciated her sharing her journey in how to handle that. Yes, because for me, it's been really difficult. As an athlete, I was seen mostly, I think, as Canada's sweetheart. And I never spoke out about anything. And then when I just started sharing, even that I was at the local convoy in Edmonton, that's when I got a little taste of what she would get in politics. And I just got annihilated. Like I couldn't believe the people coming at me. So that destroyed a part of me for a while. And then I learned through this whole thing that it was important to just keep going because, we know what we're doing is right.
Well, I'm very happy to be joined now by Joseph Bourgault, the boss here at Canadians for Truth, an incredible event last night. Thanks for making that availability open. I had the chance to do an exclusive interview with Sarah Palin, and there was a wonderful event here in Calgary. And then tonight, it's Father's Day, it's Sunday. You're expecting hundreds of people to gather for this incredible event. I guess just what motivated you to bring Sarah Palin out specifically?
Well, one of the things we're trying to do with these events, the Fire and Ice events, is, to inform, educate, entertain people, but in the way of the truth movement of what we're trying to do in Canada. And we knew that Sarah Palin is an American patriot, and she's not afraid to speak the truth. And the United States is our closest, obviously our neighbor and our closest friend and ally. And so, I feel that bringing in American patriots into Canada to talk on these issues of truth, I feel that's really important for us to do that.
Well, I'm always curious what's happened after someone's run for vice president of the United States. I mean, that's a big job. She didn't make it, but I wanted to hear how her politics has either stayed the same with her traditional conservative values or if she's drifted. And so tonight I'm hoping to hear where she's at. And I think that'll provide an important context to all conservatives interested in family values, a good life, economy. And I think that's why I'm here tonight.
So a great honor and privilege to be joined once again by Sarah Palin. I did have the opportunity to have an extensive chat with you. That'll be out very soon for folks if it's not already out. I just wanted to kind of garner your perspective. What has the trip been like so far? What's it like to be here in Canada?
I love being in Canada. And, like I had explained, I get to spend a lot of time in Canada because we get to drive through Canada in order to get home to Alaska. And we spend a lot of time here at hockey tournaments and with kids' sports. But to be here more on the political front, it's been refreshing because you can feel a shift in Canada. You can feel kind of a different vibe where more and more people are getting kind of all wired up and fired up and not wanting government to take any more of your rights, your God-given freedoms. And you can just sense that. And the people whom you speak with, folks in the hotel that I was talking to, they're really appreciative that I would be here encouraging people to, exert their rights. But just so many people whom I've been speaking with, just very enthused about shifts that are coming. Numbers also reflect a change is coming in Canada. Like your prime minister doesn't have nearly the support that he had when he first started out, showing his cute little socks and talking about, all his different policies he wanted to implement. Well, that all has caught up with him. And people are, I believe, believing in, desiring, and committed to change.
Retired Constable Brian Dennison, what brings you out to this event tonight with Sarah Palin?
Well, Sarah Palin is kind of like an icon for me. I've watched her throughout her career, and just seeing somebody that wants freedom as much as I do, and the rest of us as well, is refreshing. You don't see a politician nowadays like that, so it's actually quite amazing to see her. I met her last night as well, and it was just awesome to see that.
You're someone who's taken a principled stand and suffered a little bit as a consequence. Sarah Palin endured that massively. She was a target, whether it be the SNL skits or mischaracterizations in the media. What do you make of a strong woman like that taking a stand and continuing to advocate for important principles?
Well, that is actually quite amazing. For her to stand up against the media onslaught that she had is actually quite amazing. So the amount that I had was nothing compared to what she's done. So actually a strong woman in leadership nowadays, why not? Guys are failing, so why not have them? And she did a fantastic job, and we need more of that, actually.
The left is unhinged. And, when they're unhinged, they have this mentality that they are, the smarter, more woke sort of people on the planet. And of course, they maybe think that there's a weaker aspect there. And then you have these strong women like Jamie and Sarah who speak out, who don't necessarily put up with that type of stuff. And so, but division has been sowed, and they forced us to choose a side. There is no more middle, right? There used to be a middle. There's no longer a middle anymore. And so those of us who have chose to lean a little bit right, are getting it from the left, and that's, I believe, premeditated. Trudeau has been dividing since day one. Every opportunity he gets to stand at the stump and divide, he's pretty much frothing at the mouth, right? And so, this is premeditated, been pre-thought out. But if you just look at the history of Marxism, like this is how they do it, right? They hijack a minority, give it power, and here we are.
What, from your perspective, when you look at Canada from abroad, obviously being from Alaska, you're like half Canadian almost, but looking from abroad, what are the sort of key issues that you see as critical for Canadians to stand up on?
Oh my gosh. I know that your prime minister is all gung-ho about taking away your freedom of speech. And you know what that leads to, of course, is when people have that taken from them and then they become afraid to say something, it actually results in them being afraid then to even think that thought because they can't share it, they can't articulate it. So, it's a form of bigger picture problems than just stymieing someone's ability to speak freely, but that goes into collectively a population psyche even. So that's dangerous territory. So, just being really adamant that that freedom of speech is not going to be taken away. And then, of course, because in the U.S., I'm such a proponent of the Second Amendment in our Bill of Rights, the right to protect ourselves, our families, our properties with firearms. I would certainly hope that the Canadian population recognizes that.
I'm an honorary Alaskan. As a Canadian, north of the 49th parallel, I love Alaska because I think that between Alaska and Wyoming, they're the two freest jurisdictions in North America. There's a competition between the two over who has lowest taxes, and I want Alberta to be in that club. I want to compete with Wyoming and Alaska for who's going to have the cheapest taxes, the freest environment in North America.
And actually walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Because a lot of people talk about, oh man, we all should do something, against this government control. Because the whole COVID overreach, the pandemic, all the reaction to it, it was never about a virus. It was always about control of the people.
Well, hey guys, sorry to interrupt that entertaining content. If you want to watch the full Fire and Ice show with Theron Fleur and Jamie Saleh with their special guest Sarah Palin, you're going to have to go to CanadiansForTruth.ca and check out Fire and Ice. It's really entertaining. I had the opportunity to listen to the event tonight as well as last night, and you don't want to miss this. I also want to thank Canadians for Truth for being so open and having all this availability, allowing me to do that exclusive interview with Sarah Palin. It's really incredible, a privilege and an honor. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sose. Hey guys, just a reminder that unlike the mainstream media who gets millions and in fact billions of handouts from the government, we rely solely on our supporters to get out here and cover these events. If you want to chip in a few bucks, help us fill our gas tanks to get out to these events, go to rebelfieldreports.com and support us now.